Dr. Durrell Pulley, the spiritual leader of today's Church Tampa Bay, and I'm excited about Ministry Development Weekend at UPCHURCH. I'm excited about coming to LA January the 28th through the 30th, 2022 for Ministry Development Weekend. It's going to be a powerful weekend, a time for better living, a time to recharge and get ready for 2022 and the fullness of all that it has to bring. So registration is going on now. You can register, and even if you're coming from out of town, you can still be a part. There is limited housing for those that are coming out of town. So you got to RSVP as soon as possible. Again, I'm inviting you to Ministry Development Weekend, January the 28th through the 30th, 2022 at UPCHURCH with Reverend Sherri James and Reverend Sheree Thompson. And I'm excited. It's always a great time, and you're going to be a part of it.
Hey UPCHURCH family, I am here to let you know that spiritual education is woven into the fabric of this ministry. And so we are committed to your spiritual growth, and there's no better way to grow than joining a class. It provides the discipline and the structure that we often lack as we attempt to grow. And then there's a space to ask questions. You can't do that during our normal service. And so we want to encourage you to enroll in a class. We have a great slate of classes that are being offered to you. Today, actually, there's a powerful workshop that Reverend Sherri is teaching called Manifesting Money, and that's at 3 p.m. today. On Sundays, as part of our regular semester of courses, we have spiritual principles for lasting weight loss. Come on, y'all. If you are working to let go of the excess baggage you may be carrying around in your soul that's showing up as excess weight on your body, this is the class for you. We will give you the principles to have lasting weight loss. Secondly, we have our Bible 4 class. This is the metaphysical interpretation of the Old Testament. And it's important that you enrich your Bible study with these to go deeper beyond the surface. And this class is perfect for that. John Downey is teaching at 3 p.m. on Sundays. Lastly, we have an amazing experience for our new students or for those who need a real reset on the truth. Basic Truth Principles 1 is being taught on
Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m.
Pacific. This is going to be an experience that you need to enroll in. It's a perfect way to reset. And so go to upchurch.org to register for these classes. Don't let the moment get by you without taking part in this study. Looking forward to seeing you in class.
It all starts in your mind. The past is gone and left behind.
What you see is what you get.
Instead of future tripping, right now's the moment we are living. Why are you standing still? Are you holding on to the way you used to feel? What are you looking for? Are you ready for your destiny knocking on your heart's door? Your path is clear to write a new story. Your dreams fulfilled will give God all of the glory. Oh,
what you see is what you get.
'Cause it all starts in your mind. The past is gone and left behind.
What you see is what you get.
Instead of future tripping, right now's the moment we are living. Walk in expectancy. Notice the signs and leads along the way. Nothing opposes me. God as my partner gives fresh mercy and grace every single day. Your path is clear. You can write a new story.
Dreams
What you see is what you get. It starts in your mind. The past is left behind.
What you see is what you get.
Instead of future tripping, right now's the moment we are living.
What you see is what you get.
What you see is what you get. It all starts in your mind. The past is gone and left behind.
What you see is what you get.
What you see is what you get. No future tripping. Yeah.
My mind is crystal clear.
Crystal clear.
The path for me is here.
Oh, he's in my soul, in my soul, in my soul, yeah. My heart is made away. Oh, this is where I will stay. What you see?
What you see peace.
See peace and love,
See
love, love, love. What you see is what you get.
What you see.
See joy.
See joy.
See joy, 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 joy. What you see is what you get. See love.
See peace.
See love, love, love. What you see is what you get.
See joy.
See joy. What you see is what you get.
What you see is what you get.
What you see is what you get. Yes. Thank you, Patty. Thank you so much for that original song. Thank you, Noriko. Thank you to our dynamic music team. Well, family, we are here at the second Sunday of the year. It is a brand new year, 2022. Time to create something amazing. And I know there have been things that probably have happened in the last, what are we at, the 9 days that made you go, wait a minute, 2022. But I want to tell you that 2022 for you is going to obey the words that you're holding in your heart and in your mind. What you see is what you get. Okay, let's get started. First, if you're watching this on Facebook, let me encourage you to please like our page, set yourself up to receive our notifications, and share this video. Just go ahead, hit that share button, tell somebody about it. See, we are forming an amazing global community of spiritual giants, and you're a part of that just by the fact that you tuned in. And so what you want to do is recruit more giants. So go ahead and hit that share button. And if you're watching this on YouTube, same thing. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, we got to have a conversation. Hit that subscribe button and make sure you also hit the little bell next to it so that you'll get notifications every time we release a new video. And leave us a comment. Love what's happening in the live chat. Thank you for everyone. The comments are amazing, but don't forget to leave us a comment in the larger comments after the live chat is over, after the live broadcast is over. Those are the ones that people who come later down the road are going to find. And so those comments make a difference. Let's take a moment to open this service with prayer. This is a new year. We are opening our hearts for a wider expression of God. We are expanding our consciousness. We're expanding our minds this year. So would you pray with me? Father, Mother God, we open our hearts and our minds to a wider way to express you. We recognize that we are your change agents for good in the world. We know that there are people whose destiny is tied to us waking up and living these principles as fully as we can in our lives. We accept this calling on our experience. We accept the influence that you have given us. And we say yes, God. Yes to the dreams that you have put in our hearts. Yes to the ideas that you have baked into us. Yes to the things that are interesting only to us. Because we know that in that seed of uniqueness is the seed for our destiny. We bless today's service, that it may go out and do a perfect work in your people, that it may wake them up to the awareness that they are you in expression, that there is no difference or distance between us and you, but that we are simply breathing. You are breathing yourself as us, that we are your expressions. We are proof that God exists. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. I declare that this is going to be an amazing service. I declare that people are going to have the breakthroughs that they need. I declare that this is going to be an amazing Sunday. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you. I know that you hear me when I pray. And so I relax. I allow this prayer to be so, and so it is. All right, let's have a great service. I don't know about you, but I am ready for an amazing 2022. I have the expectation that this is my year, that this is our year, and I hope that you can agree with me. And so if you will declare with me, 2022 is my year. Put that in the chat. 2022 is my year. This is the year for overcoming generational curses. This is the year for overcoming the things that have previously held us back. This is the year when the harvest comes in from all the seeds that have been sown over many years. That's my declaration for 2022. This is the year. This is the year. Let me share with you our vision. Our vision is to love every person up to their true identity and to their highest potential for the greater good of all. See, we know something about you. We know that you are more than you have expressed thus far in your experience. And you might be 60, 70, you might even be 80 plus years old, and still what lies within you pales in comparison to what you have done, pales in comparison to what lies within you. Within you is an entire universe of absolute good. And so our strategy, if you will, here at Up Church, is that we want to love all of that good out of you into expression. We want to love you and remind you that I don't care where you've been. I don't care if you wasn't doing right nowhere in your life, but you finally got it together and decided that you were going to live your best life this year in your 75th year. That's okay. We want to love you into that expression. So baby, we are on a mission. We are on a mission to express God's divine love through teaching spiritual principles, worship services, fellowship activities, and community outreach. And our theme this year, are you ready? Maybe somebody has memorized it already. Our theme is to reconnect, to reset, and to reaffirm. See, we have some of us, not everybody. I don't want to put everybody in that group. I'm just going to speak for myself. These last 18 months or going on 2 years have been challenging. They have, in some ways, knocked me off my game. I don't know about you. Maybe that didn't happen to you. Maybe you didn't. You know what? You came through this and you are completely unscathed by this whole thing. And that's great. But for those of us like me that are walking in this human form, that this experience has challenged everything that I thought about life. I am saying that this is our opportunity to reconnect, to tap back into that spirit, to tap back into that indwelling Christ that is the truth of who we are, and hit the reset button. You know, the beautiful thing about worshiping God, the beautiful thing about walking this path is that God is a God of second chances. There is no mistake, no choice that I have made that I cannot come back from. And so I can hit the reset button. And you can hit the reset button too. And then I want to reaffirm. See, the only reason that I might be suffering, the only reason that we might be suffering is that I have forgotten who I am and whose I am. And so I want to reaffirm my divine nature, my divine origin, my divine being. And so I invite you into this process. We are starting the year with a powerful study of Hypatia Hasbrook's book, The Handbook of Positive Prayer. The Handbook of Positive Prayer. I am telling you, get this book in your library, get it on Kindle, however you got to get it. It is an amazing text. And I think that you are going to see that the only thing between you and where you want to be is understanding how to communicate better with the God of your understanding. Understanding how to reconnect and recenter yourself in God. And so we're going to reconnect, we're going to reset, and we're going to reaffirm. And in this moment, we're going to come apart. We're going to make ourselves good soil for the word that is to come. Let's take this moment to breathe together and become good soil. Right where you are, close your eyes. Turn your attention inward to your breath. And breathe gently and quietly in and out through your nose. Take a deep breath. One more time, take another deep, cleansing breath. And on this third breath, feel yourself relax even more. Feel the tension leave your body. Count out 5 slow, restful breaths. Let your whole body rest back. Drop into the awareness that this is your time to be at ease and to be still. Let yourself be present here. There's nowhere else you need to be. There's nothing else you need to do that's more important than this moment, right here and right now. From this relaxed state, send the healing light of Christ from the crown of your head all throughout the body. Feel the light moving through
forehead, your brow, your cheeks, your nose, your mouth. That same healing light continues over the shoulders and the chest and back area, moving down through the abdomen, healing at every step along the way. That healing light now moves to the hips and the thighs and the buttocks. That healing light travels now to the knees, to the shins, down to the ankles, and to the feet. And just let go. Exhale. Recognize that you are God's beloved. And right now, there is nothing more important than this moment right here and right now. Such a simple practice. Come apart and recognize your oneness with all there is. We thank you, Spirit, for making us good soil. We thank you for healing us. We thank you for restoration in every area of our lives. We bring our attention now back to the conscious moment. When we're ready, we open our eyes. We give thanks. We recognize that just that easily, we can step away from all of the things that are pulling us in the world. And we can allow the presence and the power of our indwelling Christ to love us, to lift us, to liberate us. Thank you, God.
Good afternoon, Up Church. God bless you today. Happy New You. I just want to remind you that a new you is emerging, and I'm so grateful for it. I'm Reverend Sheree Thompson, and it is my joy to be with you today. You all know that Up Church is all about loving you up to your true potential. If you didn't know that, you do know it now. And I'm so grateful that we get to expand into our greatness together. This message is for you. If you are visiting with Up Church, I want you to consider growing with Up Church. Why don't you go ahead and plant yourself here to grow spiritually? We would love to have you. Our doors are always open to you. And our path to membership may be a little different than maybe other ministries you've been a part of, but I guarantee you that we will make sure you understand all you need to know about being a member of Up Church, what we are here to offer you, and what we want to have in exchange, because love is an exchange. It's a dynamic ebb and flow, and we want to make sure that you are part of that love flow. So if you're interested, go ahead and take that first step and let us know you're interested. Just go ahead and email us. That's all you have to do. That's your first step. Just email us at upchurch@upchurch.org. You can also call our church office and we will get back to you with your first step. You see, it's important that you know the most important step is the first step. And so we're here to guide and support you after you take that step. Won't you join us? We would love to have you. Now, who is that we? Okay, we're worshiping virtually right now. So our we is a collection of members who are committed to their spiritual growth. I think you will find that Up Church members are some of the most compassionate, loving people that you'll ever meet. And you know what? Let's all fellowship together. So if you're worshiping with us for the first time, if you're worshiping with us, you visited before, I want you to join into the massive celebration that we're getting ready to have, where we acknowledge one another for who we really are. So I want you to take a moment and go into our chat and tell us your spiritual name. All that you need to do is put I am next to a quality of God, and we will be able to just say hello and see one another for who we really are. Now, the cool thing about this practice, and I know that there are some people who are already claiming their spiritual name, is that you become what you say you are. So we have to be careful about how we use our I am power. You become what you say you are. And so I boldly declare today that I am courage. What is your spiritual name? Just take I am and put it next to a quality of God, and maybe pick one that you really want to see more of yourself in 2022. So we're going to do that. If you're not chatting along with us, feel free to add it to the comments. We love to see them there. And if you're not chatting, if you're not commenting, and you're just enjoying the service without that extra layer of engagement, stand up and declare your spiritual name. Don't let the moment get by you where you don't take the chance to say who you really are, so that you can see more of that in your life, world, and affairs. It's so great to worship with you. I'm so grateful for you each and every day. And now we're going to have our daily inspiration for better living. I want you to enjoy that. Those publications, by the way, the daily inspirations, are available for purchase. Just come to go to upchurch.org. Email us at upchurch@upchurch.org, and we'll make sure we can get one to you in your hand. If you'd like to subscribe to it so that you get it digitally every day, go to ufbl.org and go to the shop, to their store, and you can register there to receive the daily inspiration in your inbox. Now, without further ado, let's have today's daily inspiration.
Good afternoon, UpChurch. Today is January 9th, 2022, and I'll be reading the daily inspiration titled Consistency. Rome was not built in a day, but every day there was work being done to build Rome. This statement is illustrative of the point that consistent daily action is necessary to achieve your goals. One-off actions may kickstart the work. It is consistent effort practiced daily which takes hold of and builds and brings into visible manifestation the divinely inspired idea which will change your life, world, and affairs. Take the example of the walker who pledged to herself to walk consistently for 365 days and succeeded in doing so. At the end of the period, through consistent daily work, the walker had transformed not only her fitness level, but a transformation took place in her physical body as well as her mindset. What's your area of focus this year? If you have already identified your main goal, then begin to put the plans into action. Break down the year-long goals into quarterly increments and then further down to daily actions. Daily work, brick by brick, thought by thought. It's the consistent actions that really bring results. Let's do this. Now for the scripture. It's my observation that those who plow evil and sow trouble reap evil and trouble. Job 4:8. Have a good afternoon.
It's time for our affirmation of power. This is where we speak the word of truth for ourselves. We're going to activate the power of our spoken word. And what's so great about this month's affirmation is that it is right in alignment with our theme for this year. And so reconnect is what I want you to focus on today. We're going to reconnect through the power of our spoken word. Let's take this affirmation together. Whenever things go bad or wrong or painful for me, I get still, turn within, and reconnect with God. I plug into love and my relationships are in harmony. I plug into power and I am empowered to begin again. I plug into life and I am healthy, whole, and strong. I plug into substance and I am divinely supplied. I plug into wisdom and I am guided to right action. I reconnect to God, and in every way, my life gets better and better. And so it is. Amen. I reconnect to God, and in every way, my life gets better and better. It is so important that we reconnect. Whenever you're feeling a little doubtful, whenever you're feeling trapped with fear, no matter how microscopic the fear agent may be, hear me? Reconnect with God and remember that every day and every way your life gets better and better. God bless you today. I'm going to turn the service over to Reverend Sherri. She has something to tell you about our amazing Leadership Development Weekend.
Thank you, Reverend Sheree. We have an exciting day today. We have an exciting January. So I want to talk to you just really briefly about Ministry Development Weekend. Last week I showed you some of the pictures. I want to invite you to an informational session. The response to this weekend, I didn't know who would say yes to it. I have no idea. Turns out this is probably going to be our biggest ministry development weekend since we've started doing these. So we want to put together an information session. So I want to invite you to join us after the service, and Reverend Sheree will be there to answer your questions. Now, don't forget, we have my workshop, Manifesting Money, that starts at 3 p.m. And so I want to encourage you to definitely sign up for that. Because while you're getting all this good insight on how to do church better, you also want to know, how do I do money better? Yes, 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 yes. All right. It is going to be really a powerful weekend. We're going to share with you our COVID protocols. We're going to talk about how we're going to keep ourselves safe. We've also found an additional option for those who are not able to stay in the house but don't want to drive in each day and who want to stay overnight so that you're not driving back and forth. We have an option for you. So you'll find out that information when you come to the information session. And also we'll have a little bit more fleshed out itinerary. We're tweaking the whole weekend so that it is dynamic. And so we've got different little things that we are adding so that this is a really once in a lifetime unique kind of experience. All right. So right after the service, the link we're using, I believe, is the after party link. If I'm wrong about that, they'll put that in the show notes or something, but it's the after party link. You'll meet Reverend Sheree there and she'll answer your questions, and then come on and join me at 3:00 for Manifesting Money. All right, let's pass the baton to our incredible worship team. And then I got a word for you about the how and why of prayer.
I have decided to together for my good. All things work together for my good.
Everything is working together for my good. What a powerful, positive prayer. Let me tell you, that is something that you can walk the floors in your house and reset the atmosphere in your house. Just get up every morning, talk to the walls, talk to the refrigerator, holler at the stove, speak to the TV, talk to the sheets. Everything is working together for my good. Everything is working together for my good. Speak to the people living in your house that need to be out on their own. Everything is working together for my good. Speak to whatever has your mind when you first wake up, because we don't always wake up in our right minds. Sometimes we wake up worried about things that's got to go on during the day or stuff that hasn't quite worked out, and you want to speak to that. Everything is working together for my good. Yes, this is a powerful, powerful prayer, and it is a perfect way. Thank you, worship team. It is a perfect way to open a sermon that I've entitled The How and Why of Positive Prayer. The how and the why of positive prayer. See, some people won't get on board with positive prayer because they need to understand how it works. You know people like that? They won't get started down a path unless they understand how this thing works. Now, having a scientific background, I am people. I'm one of those people. So this was a really fun talk for me to put together for you today. I want you to understand what positive prayer is. That's covered in chapter 1. I'm trusting that you can go read chapter 1 on your own. But in a nutshell, positive prayer is about affirming what you do want and giving no attention to what you don't want. So you never go and pray the problem. You always go and pray the solution. So your prayer is never begging. Your prayer is assuming that I ask for it, and my Father, Mother, God, who loves me, who desires desperately to express through me, it answers me with yes and amen. So I don't have to worry. Whatever it is that I put in prayer is going to come to pass, period, because that's how it works. And so I am encouraging you to understand positive prayer is your solution. And I want to give you how and why it works. And this is my thesis. Through your thinking, you control the way God shows up in your life. Now, that might seem bold. Maybe there was something in the back of your mind that stood up and said, "Nuh-uh, Reverend Sherry, God controls how God shows up in my life." And I said, nuh-uh, that's not how that works. Through your thinking, you control how God shows up in your life. And I'm going to prove that to you today. So I got 2 scriptures for you, because that just, usually I try to pick one, but both of these were like, I couldn't leave one on the table. Isaiah 45:11, easily my favorite scripture. "And concerning the works of my hands, you command me." And concerning the works of my hands, you command me. And my second scripture comes from Mark 4:28. "First the blade, then the ear. After that, the full grain in the ear." First the blade, then the ear. After that, the full grain in the ear. So I want to start with just talking about how positive prayer works. Positive prayer works through a divine law. And that divine law, this is the name we give it. We call it the law of mind action. Now, when I first got into New Thought and I heard that phrase, it was like, wait, what? Like, how? I couldn't get my head around it. Well, let me tell you what I've come to understand today. The law of mind action, what it describes is the action that's taking place in your mind. That's it. Any divine law is just simply the way that God works. That's all a divine law. It's just the way that God works. So positive prayer is governed by the law of mind action. Well, Reverend Sherry, what is the law of mind action? I'm so glad you asked. Let me tell you. The law of mind action is that thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. So positive thoughts held in mind produce positive experiences. Negative thoughts held in mind produce negative experiences. It's that simple. And all a divine law is the way that God works. And the law of mind action is a divine law. Okay? What you have to understand about God is that God is impersonal. God's absolute good operates impersonally. So the law of mind action doesn't judge you according to your morality. It doesn't judge you according to how ethical you are. The law of mind action simply says, what thoughts are you holding in mind? Those are the thoughts that you're holding in mind, then those shall be the kinds of experiences that you shall bring into your life. God's absolute good is impersonal, and the law of mind action operates impersonally. Now, Jesus pointed this out in Matthew 5:45 when he said that God makes his sun rise on the evil and on the good, and sends rain on the just and on the unjust. So there is no fact checking your heart and the quality of the good works you do. If you hold negative thoughts in mind, it does not matter if you are the most devout believer. Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. And so if you are going to work with God, you're going to have to work with God the way that God works. If you are going to work with God, you're going to have to work with God the way that God works. Well, how does God work? Well, here's what we found out. Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. So let me give you the 3 points. I'm going to be talking about something called a mode. M-O-D-E, a mode. And a mode is simply a way or manner in which something occurs or is experienced, expressed, or done. I'll say that again. A mode is simply a way or a manner in which something occurs or is experienced, expressed, or done. So, how do you make a quiche? Well, the mode for making a quiche involves baking. Is there another way to make a quiche? Probably, but generally the mode for making a quiche involves baking. After you put the ingredients in the pie shell, you got to put that puppy in the oven and bake it, right? So the mode, it's the way a thing is done. Is this making sense? The law of mind action has 3 modes by which it occurs or is expressed in our lives. So the law of mind action is that thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. There are 3 modes. There are 3 ways that the law of mind action happens in our lives. The first one is oneness. The second is order. And the third is circulation. Oneness, order, circulation. So let's get into it. Mode number 1, oneness. God is one with creation. And I'm going to share with you the words that Hypatia wrote, because I really think that they are so well put. This is what she says in chapter 2. She says, God is one with its ideas even after the ideas manifest in the material world. For the very stuff that underlies everything in the material world is the substance of God. It is true that God is infinite and transcendent. In simple words, this means that God has no boundaries, that there are aspects of God above and beyond yours and my comprehension, and that there is more God than there are God ideas and God substance. In other words, that you can never exhaust God, because no matter how much of God you express, there is more God than has been expressed. She goes on to say, and God is also immanent, ever present as the underlying substance of material things, the innate intelligence in them, and the principle which gives them life or activity. In other words, God is one with creation. So God is transcendent. God is beyond and above this world and what we are experiencing in this world. And at the same time, God is in all that you are experiencing. It is transcendent and immanent. God is one with creation, which means God is one with us. That's where we get this concept of oneness. But let me tell you, let's talk about what that means, that oneness. Because we are like our source, we are one with our ideas even after they manifest. If God is one with its ideas even after the ideas manifest, and we are like that from which we come, then we are one with our ideas even after they manifest. We are one with our habitual thoughts and one with the activity of the law of mind action. What am I saying? I'm saying that I cannot escape the results of my own thinking. I cannot escape the results of my own thinking. Wherever I go, there I am. There's this great book the late Candace Pert wrote called The Molecules of Emotion. Now, she was often called the mother of psychoneuroimmunology. That's a fancy word of saying the mind-body connection. That she was considered the mother of that. In her research, this is what she found. She found that the surface of the cells in our bodies are lined with specific receptors to which only specific molecules can attach themselves. And these molecules, in turn, are messengers through which the body and the mind are constantly sharing information. This is what she pioneered, this idea as far as science is concerned. This idea of the mind-body connection. But listen, that's not new to us, is it? We've been talking about the mind-body connection. You can go back to Fillmore. You can go back to Phineas P. Quimby. You can go back to Mary Baker Eddy. You can go all the way back to Immanuel Kant. You can go back. We've been talking about the mind-body connection. Science is just catching up. But here's the interesting part. And this is where my little nerd alert moment went off. Many memories are stored throughout the body, and they change the structure of those receptors at a cellular level. What am I saying? I'm saying that as you experience emotions in your body, I'm talking waves of grief, moments of delight, those emotions attach themselves to the receptors that are on the surface of your cells, and they condition them to receive that. over time, the cells get conditioned to the emotions that you practice feeling. And it gets easier and easier to feel those emotions. In many instances, we get addicted to the emotions that we practice consistently. Hair trigger tempers are built one emotion at a time. Anger management issues are built one emotion at a time. Chronic fear is or distrust, self-distrust is built one emotion at a time. None of us just showed up overnight expressing as we are expressing. We have built it over time, and our body has functioned like the unconscious mind, obeying us, holding on to the emotions that we spend the most time practicing. You have to be mindful about the emotions that you let play out in your body, because they attach themselves to your cells. I can never escape the results of my own thinking. What science is confirming is what we've been saying, that there is something happening in this mind-body connection. And what I allow to go on in my mind reproduces itself in my body, because I'm one with the thoughts that I hold in mind, even after I have thought them. Positive prayer is the way out of this cycle of conditioned emotional thinking and living. It takes advantage of the mode of oneness that we have with the results of our own thinking. Remember what I said at the beginning. You have to work with God the way that God works. So I can't escape the results of my own thinking. Fine. What I can do is do something about the thinking. If I do something about the thinking, I'm going to get a different result. Now, mode number 2. And I want to remind you, a mode is a way or a manner that something occurs or is experienced, expressed, or done. The law of mind action is always working. It is always working. It's never not working. Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. We don't want to change the divine law. We want to learn to work with the law. It works if you work it. Now, what order does is order establishes a sequence of events. What do I mean by that? What I mean is that some divine ideas have to become manifest before other divine ideas can become manifest. We're talking about right timing. You've heard that before, right timing. The rule of thumb is places before people and things. Places before people and things. Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, "For everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven." For everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. Mark 4:28, one of our guiding scriptures, and Jesus said, first the blade, then the ear, then the full grain in the ear. And I thought that it might be helpful to see that, because when I was a little girl, I grew up with this scripture, hearing it at Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church and other settings. And I always thought of corn, because when we made corn on the cob, my mom would say, get you an ear of corn. So I always thought this scripture only referred to corn. So here, I'm going to put some pictures on the screen for you. So this first picture that I want to show you is the blade. The blade has to appear first before you get the ear. You can't have an ear without first having a blade. So the next picture I'm going to put on the screen is the ear. I don't know if you knew that this is a picture of wheat, that wheat has an ear. This is considered an ear of wheat. And so before you can have the full grain, you've got to have the blade and the ear. And the next picture I'm going to put on the screen is the full grain that's in the ear. So before you can have the full grain that's in the ear, you got to have the ear. And before you can have the ear, you've got to have the blade. Everything in the universe flows according to a sequence of events. The environment for the thing always precedes the thing itself. The environment for the thing always precedes the thing itself. Every technology that's ever been invented could only come about when an environment was created that allowed that technology to be. There are no new divine laws that are being discovered. What has been discovered is a new use of the same old divine law that was used before. The technology that allows us to use these smartphones that we have to run this video so that it's running and we're all seeing it at the same time. It's not new technology. How to say this? It's not a new law, new elements. There are no new elements coming. The periodic table is complete. No new elements were discovered. The same technology that's operating today, everything that we're using for it, the elements existed in 1950. But the environment was not ready. The blade had not come. The ear had not come. So the full grain could not appear. On Christmas Day, this past Christmas, NASA participated in the launch of a telescope called the James Webb Telescope that's going to potentially travel 13 billion years into the past. Now, that sounds super fantastic. 13 billion years, you're going to be able to look back that far. Scientists are working with the same divine law that launched the Hubble telescope in 1990, but with an expanded understanding, more can be done. What does this mean for the law of mind action? Maybe there is something that you've been wanting to bring into your life, and you feel like, I've been working this thing, but I cannot seem to get it manifested in my life. What am I doing wrong? And I want to tell you that you're not doing anything wrong. Perhaps you're missing the environment that makes the thing you desire possible. Places before people and things. The James Webb Telescope wouldn't be possible without the Hubble. You may be praying for or about a thing that seems to elude you, and if it seems delayed, remind yourself that you're likely in the season where the environment is being created. First the blade, then the ear, then the full grain in the ear. The blade, metaphysically, is the idea. First, you got to get the idea. You got to get the possibility that it could be. The ear is the mental thought about that idea. Is your thinking in agreement with the idea? Sometimes you get the idea for love, but your thinking for love is on the opposite end of the spectrum. The full grain is the physical expression of the idea. You know when you get the full expression? When you got the right environment, when you got the right soil. See, we like shortcuts, but the universe knows no shortcuts. Everything that you desire has a right timing to it. God's answer to every prayer is yes and amen. But God will never bypass the order of how things manifest. And it just may be that you are not, or your environment is not, the right container for the thing that you're trying to bring into being. You're asking for it. The Spirit desires to give it to you because that's where the desire came from in the first place. But you have not yet become, or not yet put yourself in the environment where what you desire can be. First the blade, then the ear, then the full grain in the ear. Mode number 3. And we remember what a mode is. A mode is just the way that this thing works. So the way that positive prayer works, the first one is oneness. I'm one with everything I think. And I'm one with it even after it's manifested in my life. The second way is order, right? There's a sequence to it. There's an order to how this thing works out. So thoughts held in mind are going to produce after their kind, but they're not going to leapfrog over divine order. Mode number 3, circulation. Divine ideas and divine substance eternally circulate from God, or what we would call the unmanifest realm, into the manifest realm and back to the unmanifest. So as a metaphysician, we are continually expanding and contracting. We're taking an idea in the unmanifest realm, and we're expanding it out to an experience in the manifest realm. And then we're taking an experience in the manifest realm, and we're collapsing it back down to the idea in the unmanifest realm. And this is happening all the time. All the time. Expansion, contraction. Expansion, contraction. In the manifest or material realm, circulation governs life processes such as breathing, blood flow. In fact, if circulation stops, the organism stops. Circulation governs our material environment. If the free circulation of air stops, the atmosphere becomes stale. If the circulation of water stops, the lake becomes stagnant. They have a sea in Israel called the Dead Sea. It's called the Dead Sea because the water is stagnant. Because the water is stagnant, nothing can live in it. Circulation governs the economy. The fastest way to lose your money is to hoard it. That's why you never save for a rainy day. 1, the rainy day is on its way. But 2, money has to circulate if it's going to increase in your experience. There is no way to escape circulation. Everything is circulating. That's just the nature of how this thing works. What does this mean for the law of mind action? Remember, mode is the way that things happen. Circulation always brings us more of whatever we circulate. Circulation always brings us more of whatever we circulate. What's the law? Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. Whatever thoughts you are holding in mind, that's what you're circulating. Whatever thoughts you are holding in mind, that's what you're circulating. And they are attracting more thoughts like them. Every thought functions like a magnet in your mind. You cannot escape the results of your own thinking. You are always one with the thoughts that you allow to circulate in your mind. And as you hold these thoughts in mind, the universe works out their expression in an orderly fashion. Through your own thinking, you control how God shows up in your life. See, God is lavish, unfailing abundance. You can go anywhere in nature and see the vast, unfailing, unending beauty of God. But that vast, unending, unfailing beauty or plenty or abundance or good is governed by your thinking. Plenty is available to you, but if you don't get the thinking right, God can't do nothing about it for you. Reverend Della used to say, God is a gentleman. He'll never force himself on you. It is you that has to open up and work with the law that governs positive prayer, which is the law of mind action, the way that it works. And the way that it works is thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. The reason that I control the way that God shows up is because God's divine law, called the law of mind action, is constantly operating in my experience. One of the ways that it operates, and this is a review, is oneness. I am one in every way imaginable with my habitual way of thinking. Whatever has shown up points back to a habitual way of thinking. Positive prayer is the way I change what I have made myself one with. Because the beauty of it is that I'm never stuck. I may have made myself one with lack. I may have made myself one with illness. I may have made myself one with bad relationships. But the beauty is I'm never stuck because I can always bring a new thought in my mind and hold to it. I can put together strategies in my life. I can get up in the morning, put on some good music, and remind myself that I am God's beloved. How do we open today? Everything is working together for my good, that I can play that music and I can shift the thoughts that I'm holding in my mind. And the law is thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. The second way that the law of mind action works is order. This universe takes no shortcuts, places before people and things. If there is a blessing that seems to be delayed, I remind myself that nothing happens out of order, and I focus my prayer on creating or becoming a suitable container for the thing that I desire. So then that if it is love that I desire, hello, God, make me a suitable container for the love that I desire. If it is wealth that I desire, hello, God, make me a suitable container for the wealth that I desire. Whatever it is, it's going to come into my life in an orderly way, places before people and things. That means that I've got to be the right place for the people and the things that I desire. And finally, circulation. Circulation always brings to me more of whatever I circulate. Therefore, I organize myself so that I circulate what I want to see produced. I put my life together in such a way that I don't even give myself a chance to have any stinking thinking. I put myself together in such a way that there is not even a slim iota of a chance that some funky thinking is going to run through my mind. I organize it. The people that I keep around me, I build it into my day. I structure it throughout my week. I make it so that when I'm in those down moments, right? Because we all have those down moments. We all have those unguarded moments. This is not about perfection. This is about practice. We all have those moments where we're not in our right mind. We wake up worried about something, or something happens during the day and catches our attention and sends us down a rabbit hole of negative thinking. That stuff happens. This is not about it not happening. This is about having a practice that snatches you back from the brink. And so I organize my life in such a way that I never go too far out. I got different little reminders. So it might be a post-it on the mirror. It might be a standing meeting with a mastermind buddy. I got structures in my life that make sure I never go too far because I got to show up for something that's going to pull me back into my right mind, to make sure that I'm always circulating the right thoughts. Myrtle Fillmore had this quote, and I thought it was so powerful, and I'll end it here. She says, never make an assertion, no matter how true it may look on the surface, that you do not want continued or reproduced. Never make an assertion, no matter how true it may look on the surface, that you do not want continued or reproduced. God bless you.
Prayer will change you. Everything else will rearrange itself. You can change you. You don't have to change anybody else. Prayer is your victory. It doesn't really matter what the battle may be. You need a change in your life today. Go somewhere and pray. Prayer will change you. Everything else will rearrange itself. You can't change you. You don't have to change anybody else. Prayer is your victory. It doesn't really matter what the battle may be. If you need a change in your life today, go somewhere and pray. What you need to do is pray until the peace no longer lets you be. You need to until the mountain is no longer steep. You need to pray
All right, family, it is time to support your spiritual center and help us take this message global. Made it so easy for you to support UpChurch. Contributions to our ministry can be made online. You can text UpChurch to 73256, or you can go to upchurch.org and click on the give button, or you can make your gift via Cash App. Our Cash App ID is $UpChurchLA, or you can mail in your gift. And remember, we have a new mailing address, 3108 Glendale Boulevard, number 547, Los Angeles, 90039. Come to share. Would you read along with me? Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give in love and I trust God. All right, let's back up that blessing with a declaration. We want to send this seed out with energy, enthusiasm, and expectancy. I am in the flow. I give generously and I receive abundantly. I am a massive giver and a gracious receiver. All right, family, let's have some announcements and then I'll be back to close us out.
Good day, I am Dr. Durrell Pulley, the spiritual leader of today's Church Tampa Bay, and I'm excited about Ministry Development Weekend at UpChurch. I'm excited about coming to LA, January the 28th through the 30th, 2022 for Ministry Development Weekend. It's going to be a powerful weekend, a time for better living, a time to recharge and get ready for 2022 and the fullness of all that it has to bring. So registration is going on now. You can register, and even if you're coming from out of town, you can still be a part. There is limited housing for those that are coming out of town. So you got to RSVP as soon as possible. Again, I'm inviting you to Ministry Development Weekend, January the 28th through the 30th, 2022 at UpChurch with Reverend Sherri James and Reverend Sheree Thompson. I'm excited. It's always a great time, and you're going to be a part of it.
Hey, UpChurch family. I am here to let you know that spiritual education is woven into the fabric of this ministry. And so we are committed to your spiritual growth, and there's no better way to grow than joining a class. It provides the discipline and the structure that we often lack as we attempt to grow. And then there's a space to ask questions. You can't do that during our normal service. And so we want to encourage you to enroll in a class. We have a great slate of classes that are being offered to you. Today, actually, there's a powerful workshop that Reverend Sherri is teaching called Manifesting Money, and that's at 3 p.m. today. On Sundays, as part of our regular semester of courses, we have spiritual principles for lasting weight loss. Come on, y'all. If you are working to let go of the excess baggage you may be carrying around in your soul that's showing up as excess weight on your body, this is the class for you. We will give you the principles to have lasting weight loss. Secondly, we have our Bible 4 class. This is the metaphysical interpretation of the Old Testament. And it's important that you enrich your Bible study with these to go deeper beyond the surface. And this class is perfect for that. John Downey is teaching at 3 p.m. on Sundays. Lastly, we have an amazing experience for our new students or for those who need a real reset on the truth. Basic Truth Principles 1 is being taught on
Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m.
Pacific. This is going to be an experience that you need to enroll in. It's a perfect way to reset. And so go to upchurch.org to register for these classes. Don't let the moment get by you without taking part in this study. Looking forward to seeing you in class.
Thank you so much for being a part of today. Oh, we are moving into the best year of our life. And I just want to acknowledge you. I recognize that in this virtual setting, you could have been anywhere, but you chose to spend this time with us. And I just thank you. I want to remind you that a couple of things. We've got the information session for Ministry Development Weekend. The information session is immediately following service. I also want to remind you that my workshop, Manifesting Money, so we can kick off the year the right way, is available. There's still room if you want to get in. It's a virtual workshop, so you can attend from the comfort of your home. And I want to make sure that you have marked your calendars for January 28th, 29th, and 30th. I'm so excited. I like I said before, I didn't know how many people would raise their hand and opt in for Ministry Development Weekend, but the response has been overwhelming. So we are moving swiftly to put together the accommodations for a bigger group. So very, very excited for what is to come. Let's take a moment right now to just close today's service in prayer. I want to take this opportunity to just bless you, to hold in your mind only the positive thoughts for what you want in your experience. I bless you to work the law of God in your experience. I know from my own personal experience that it works if you work it. And I bless you to take what you've heard today, to build on the lessons that you've gotten all through 2021 and 2020 and before that, and to build a life that you love living. We see you being the spiritual giant that you are. We see you waking up to your greatness and living and walking in your divine purpose. We bless you to be as amazing as you imagine yourself to be. Let's take our prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us wherever we are. God is, and so it is. Take care, family. I'll see you next week.